That time when we get to sit down and discuss critical matters, and to many Kenyans, the world of Forex trade and the securities, of course, is like a mirage that is not understood. With these complexities, all requires one to just understand the basics. On that note, I'm joined in studio by Denis Mwenga, a level 1 chartered market technician with a specialty in stock market indices, and of course with Sylvia Muchai, a consultant in financial engineering specialization in financial markets. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for this candid conversation this afternoon.
Thanks for having us.
Let me start by asking this right off the bat, and I'll start with Sylvia. When we speak about Forex and trading and markets, what does it mean to the common layman person who does not have an understanding on all this?
Okay. So Forex is a short form of foreign exchange. And what that means is that we trade currencies. So the international markets is made up of different economies, and those economies use different currencies. So you as a layman or as a person who's coming in to trade in the financial markets, you will be exposed to international markets with different currency pairs. And so you're leveraging on different currency pairs, but making use of price, the directional price movements in the markets.
And Denis, what do you understand when you talk about now the stock market? What does it mean to a layman?
So when you talk specifically about stock market indices, we are saying what we mean, these are products whereby the value of this particular product, this particular index, has been derived from a bunch of stocks. For example, when you talk about the NASDAQ, for example, which I am a specialist in, or the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones, this is a collective group of stocks which reflect particular industries. For example, when I talk about the Dow Jones Industrials. So this particular index, for example, it portrays the well-being of a particular economy and a particular sector of the economy. So what we are saying is that you can expose yourself to these particular indices and get to profit from the movements of these economies.
I want to come back to Sylvia. And when you talk about business, it's all about the money.
Yeah.
So how can I make some money out of all this Forex trading?
Okay. So what normally happens, you come in and you have to open an account with a brokerage firm. That's the first step. So you've got to fund your account. But the most important thing, you need to have the skill to trade. So you've got to know how to trade, because like any other business, you need to know what to do to run that business. So it's no different with this. So there are different ways of learning how to do Forex trading. You can choose to self-educate, which takes a longer time. You can also choose to have mentorship or attach yourself to someone who's been doing this business, and that way you learn in the process. And yeah, so the skill number one, and then fund your account, and then slowly by slowly treat it as a business, and you make money.
I have friends who, for lack of a better word, engage in this business. What they do, they buy Forex when it's low, and then they sell when it has gained. Is it even legal if I can go and buy $1 at 102 and then wait tomorrow when it's 105 and sell? Is it even legal?
Yeah, because what we do, we're in the business of speculation. And so the dollar, depending on the market movements, the value is not constant, so it keeps changing. Different factors come into play, interest rates, inflation. So you have to, with Forex trading, it's more about timing. So the timing, you have to look at the value of the dollar today, but you compare that with another currency. So you're not just making use of one pair. Yeah.
So it's actually a good side hustle.
It's not a side hustle, really. It's a business. People do it full time.
I want to bring Denis into this. Now, when I want to start trading in Forex and all that, what skills do I need to have?
First of all, there are various skills that one needs to have. And speaking from my skill set, as I am a chartered market technician, a level 1 chartered market technician. So the skill that I have is an analytical skill. So this analytical skill is whereby we use price data. And this price data, we use price data in order to gauge the sentiment of investors in the market. So thing is, I do not need to exactly know what particular companies are doing in terms of their fundamentals, What I need to have is the price data, and I can use this price data and use knowledge in behavioral finance in order to gauge where investors want to buy a particular currency pair, where investors want to sell a particular currency pair. So that is a skill that I have, and that out there you can acquire that skill.
Before we get into how one can get into Forex trading and all that, I want to ask you something, and that is the role of brokers. Okay. Why do we need brokers in Forex trade in Kenya today? Are they necessary?
Okay, that's a good question. So before the 1990s, that was during the dot-com era, the internet boom. Before that time, the Forex market used to be a market that was exclusive for banks. So banks used to transact in this particular market, selling and buying currencies. But when the dot-com era got ushered in, this market became more accessible to the retail investor. So what that means is that the broker, we are using the broker to provide a platform, and using the broker's platform, we can access quotes from these banks, these major banks like HSBC, Goldman Sachs, and other major fund managers who used to participate exclusively in that market. So what a broker does, the broker gives you a platform, because you as a retail trader, as a retail investor, you cannot access that liquidity pool. So that is the role that the broker plays in this particular market.
Thank you very much for that. So Sylvia, I want to get into Forex trading.
Yes.
How much capital do I need to have?
From as little, we usually say if you want to, first of all, learn the ropes and, learn how to trade before taking it full time, you can even start with as little as $200. Some brokerage firms even offer a minimum capital requirement of $100. So $500, $1,000, that's good enough. But if you want to scale it up and do this full time after you have learned how to trade, then usually the minimum standard is like $10,000. Yeah.
And what are the do's and don'ts? Once I've stepped my foot into Forex trading,
Yes.
What are the do's and don'ts, and how do I get my way around that business?
Okay, so the first thing you need to set in place is good risk management tools. Because most people think that, it's just a matter of buying and selling. Really, it's not like that. You've got to have a rationale behind what makes you place a trade. So that brings in the aspect of, do you have a trading process? Do you have a strategy? Do you know why you're riding the markets? Yeah, I think Denis can chip in on that.
Yes, I wanted to ask him how secure I am when I get into this business, about the online fraud, security, and the risks involved in Forex trading in Kenya today.
Yeah, that's also another brilliant question. Now, when you get into Forex trading, for example, and also trading in other products which are offered in the financial markets out there, when you want to seek that exposure, because it is more than just Forex. There are very many products out there that, like these indices we are talking about. For example, when I talk about the Dow Jones, when I talk about the S&P, these are, they represent the economies of these countries which are doing well. And as an investor, you will want that exposure. So first thing, you have to find a regulated broker. And the broker is regulated in the country of origin where they are located. Maybe if the broker is located in the United Kingdom, regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. If the broker is located in the United States, regulated by the Securities Exchange Commission. If the, so with these regulatory bodies, first of all, you have to make sure that they are regulated, and so that you can be safe, and so that you can know that your deposit is not subject to, you're not giving it to any fraudulent party. So regulation is important. And to add on that, because of the penetration of because of the interest that has been generated in these financial markets, and because of the desire of investors to get that exposure to these markets, and in order for them to diversify their investment portfolios, we also have locally registered brokers here in Kenya offering this particular product. And there is one firm which is now 6 months old, I think. 4 months old, thank you. And it has been registered, it is regulated by the Capital Markets Authority in Kenya. Yeah.
When you talk about stocks and Forex and all that, something comes to mind, and that is the Nairobi Stock Exchange, but now I understand it's called the Nairobi Securities Exchange.
Yes.
So what happens there at the Nairobi Securities Exchange? Is it like a market you can go and trade on stocks, or what really happens at the Nairobi Securities Exchange?
Yes, it is. The Nairobi Securities Exchange, it's a market whereby you can go and trade in stocks regardless of what particular style you want to use. But what we are saying is that there is more opportunity to be exposed to other markets out there in the world. And one advantage about Forex trading and trading this stock market indices, one advantage compared to the one which we have here in the Nairobi Securities Exchange is that you can either buy, go long, or you can either sell, go short. But here with the Nairobi Securities Exchange, you can only do one thing. You can only buy. And currently, as we're speaking at the moment, the Nairobi Securities Exchange has been on a bear run. And you have seen the news reports, and you have seen how much money has been lost by major investors. But when we are talking about this exposure to other markets which are liquid enough to allow short selling, so you can make money on both sides, going long, going short.
Thanks for that. Now, Sylvia, I want to bring in an interesting aspect here. And of course, when you talk about business, it's all about profit and how you're going to ensure that you benefit from that business that you've started. Now, in terms of trade and Forex, how is the return on investment? Is it a very lucrative business?
Yes, it is, if you know how to trade. Because we have to have a disclaimer here. You can put in your money and lose it all.
Really?
Yeah, you can. But what good traders do, what successful traders do, is that they make sure they have a balanced portfolio. You have your winning streaks are more than your losing streaks, because there's no successful trader who started out without losing money. Okay. Yeah, so that has to be put out there. But what they do, based on the risk management tools that you learn before you start to trade, then you capitalize on your winning trades and make sure that at the end of, say, every week or every month, depending on how long you hold your positions, then your winning trades are more than your losing trades.
So it's a lucrative business?
Yes, it is. You can make even more than 50% of your initial capital.
Oh, interesting. Well, we're coming back to that particular aspect. But Denis, I want us to now talk about the role of technology. As when we were starting, you were telling me something about back then in the 90s and how guys used to trade back then. I'm sure it's very different now. So please tell us what the role of technology has been in terms of Forex trading in Kenya.
Yes. So the role of technology in Kenya is that it has made accessibility to these particular markets much more easier. And as I was talking in the 1990s, and I'm talking about the Western world, people couldn't trade even stocks easily from the comfort of their homes. But the role of technology, the role of the internet, the role that the internet played, it enabled them to be able to access these markets. So with the penetration of the internet in the country, you can be able to access these platforms from the comfort of your home. You can be able to make buy or sell decisions. You can be able to structure your own portfolio, your own. If you have that skill, if you have that knowledge, you can be able to do that. So when you're talking about the role of technology, what we mean is the democratization of the financial markets using the internet. Yes.
Sylvia, this business is not a very popular or common, for lack of a better word. Why is it that it looks like it's a business that is a preserve of those who are in the technical know-how? Because they cannot go down to where I stay, and somebody cannot just come up and tell you, hey, I'm trading in stocks. So why is it not a very common business in Kenya? Actually,
that's a misconception, if I may say. Retail Forex trading, even like a person who's just completed Form 4, you don't need to have a graduate level to trade in the financial markets, no. So that is not quite true, I would say, because what you basically need is the basic tools of trading, number one, and then access to capital. So it's not reserved for technicals or experts, no.
So, Denis, do you think now with the advent of technology it will be common business now, given that these days everybody has a phone? They can actually trade on their phones. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
No, you're not wrong at all. So with the advent of technology, that means there is interest building in this particular sector. And if you go to other parts of the world, that is how people do their business. When someone is talking about, I have an investment, they are talking about investment in the financial market. And as I was saying, democratization. So, and as she was saying, it's a matter of you learning how to do it. And after you have learned how to do it, you can be able to do it using your phone, your mobile phone. You can be able to do it using your computer, as long as you have the skill and as long as you approach it as a business. That is the most important thing that we need to put out there, by the way. It is a business. The same way before you open your business out there, you have to know what is the risk that you're taking. You have to know, I'm not going to use my whole entire savings going to the business. I might lose my savings. So the same calculation any business person makes is the same calculation that you'll be making when you're getting. It is a business. That is the most important thing that needs to be out there.
Yes, I wanted to bring that point to Sylvia here, and speaking about the viability of this business. Can you, from where you sit today, can you advise me to go to a bank and get a loan to invest in this business?
What we normally advise people to do is not to rely on this business to fund your, say, your rent or your current utilities when you're starting out. Because when you're starting out, you're prone to making a lot of errors. So if you're taking a loan to do this kind of business, make sure you have a way of servicing that loan, number one. And do not entirely rely on the trading element to finance that loan.
Yeah, same way you cannot go and take a loan and immediately start a business using that loan thinking that it will come out profitably. It might not. Any other business, you might fail to pay that loan. Okay,
I will come back to you so that you can tell us where, if one wants to start, what's the knowledge, where they can get that knowledge. But before we finish this interview, for the interest of time, I want to ask Denis a question here. Of late in Kenya, there's been a buzz about cryptocurrency. We've seen the upticks of the Bitcoins and all that. Help us understand what are these cryptocurrencies and how people can make money out of that.
So cryptocurrency it's a digital currency, and it's a digital currency that it's a token. And it's a token that is generated from use of blockchain technology. So whoever provides servers and platforms for this blockchain technology platform gets that token because it is not provided in a central place. So that token becomes now the coin in and of itself. But now the thing is, it's a new product out there, and since it's a new product, of course at first when something is new there'll be a lot of excitement about it.
Very true.
And there'll be this frenzy of buying into it, and that is what has happened 5 years ago. But since the beginning of 2018 the frenzy has died down, the bubble has burst. But what I can say is that crypto is there to stay. It's a new technology. It is going to be around forever. I can say that confidently. It's going to be around forever. But now, when it comes to trading it, the frenzy has to cool down fast. And when it is much more viable, the technologies which are, the services and which are supported by the blockchain technology, once more banks, financial institutions, once they fully adopt the blockchain, that is now when the real value of the token will be, and that is when now people will begin, serious fund managers will begin getting money into crypto, of which some have already begun by this.
So can you advise me to invest my money right now on the Bitcoin or maybe another?
Right now, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to Sylvia.
Yeah.
Now, when I want to start trading in Forex,
Yes.
where do I get the knowledge that I need? Do you have maybe a school where I can go to, or do I learn from it online? Or how do I start? How do I get the knowledge that I need to kick off this business?
Okay. You can self-educate by going online and doing your research, but as time has gone by, we have started creating more awareness into the Forex business locally. So we often do seminars and workshops regarding this. So if anyone is interested in learning how to trade Forex, we will be having a seminar on the 9th of October at Strathmore University. And those who can't make it on a weekday will be having that seminar on 13th of October at Nairobi Safari Club. And they'll get more information from there.
This is a very interesting conversation, and if we keep talking about it, we're going to take the whole day. So thank you very much, Sylvia and Denis.
Thank you for
having me.
today
I've actually learned a new thing that I can make some money somewhere. Of course, I'll keep in touch with that so you can see how we can help each other there. That has been Business Insight on this 13th day of September 2018. My name is Kenneth Kazungu. Please enjoy what is left of your Thursday. Good afternoon.